Hi, happy holidays. Everybody had a great Thanksgiving, and I took a little break from this so that I can enjoy my holidays. And I have a little bit to talk about with some of my shows, but The Walking Dead, oh my God, requires so much more. So we will get into this briefly on the others, and heavily into Walking Dead because mid-season finale, it's over to February, and oh my God! But anyway, alright, I was going to get into a little bit on the new girl on NCIS because I don't know how I feel about her yet. She's kind of a little too cute and quirky for me right now. It's like almost like they tried to make her too likable and too quirky, like right away, so that everybody would be like, "Oh, she's awesome! Look at her, she's just adorable." I don't know how that's going to go over for a long period of time because the things that seem to happen, historically speaking, these recast blatant series don't tend to work out. I've seen it happen many times. The fans tend to get a little mad about it. So, Ellie, I think you'll be okay as long as you stay away from Tony and maybe even McGee. So just, hopefully she's got her own thing and she's married, maybe she's gay, who knows. I don't care. I'm not too keen on her. I still want Diva back, and hopefully that'll happen soon. Once Upon a Time had a great thing last week with Pam. We thought it was resolved, the whole thing. We thought that, they basically, defeated Pam, and at least we thought they did, and rescued Henry and freed Rumpelstiltskin Pandora's box. And Ian Neal sort of had a nice little father-son moment, him and Leona's papa. It's just so cute, by the way, when Neil says papa, it's just adorable. And they had a nice father-son bonding moment when, Neil realizes all of this and starts to understand things better and basically says, yeah, I understand you. You're trying to save Henry. And that's good. I'm glad to see that they had that. But we get a little thing at the end where we find out that during the process of saving Henry from Pam's last attempt at him on a Jolly Roger, that Pam switched bodies with Henry. So Henry's trapped in Pandora's box now with Pam's body, and Pam is in Henry. He's taken Henry's form, so now it's like he's can be more nefarious now because he looks like cute, innocent little Henry that we all love. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. Criminal Minds had a really sad little thing with the family that lost their kid. And I can't get into that stuff. It just makes me get upset and tear up, and I start to cry. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to get too far into that one. And Grimm had a really sort of creepy thing with Al Kukui, which is like a Hispanic spirit of some kind that would come and wreak vengeance on those who have wronged people. Women would call Al Kukui, and this thing would come and destroy the bad guys. And it was pretty cool. It was pretty creepy and weird and cool, like Grimm usually is, which is awesome. I like that. I like that the show has evolved and become sort of this. It's sort of like, it's sort of like the counterpart to Once Upon a Time. So there's a slightly different type of storyline. This fractured fairy tale things are really, really, really cool, and I kind of like this stuff. But speaking of fractured, and speaking of freaking crazy, and speaking of creepy, weird, and angry, and upset, and all kinds of emotions that come with watching TV shows, The Walking Dead mid-season finale. Delivered on everything. And I haven't found one person yet that was dissatisfied with this. They were very upset with something that happened in it. Yes, we'll get to that in a minute because I might start crying. But basically, the last two episodes were about what the government was doing over the summer while our prison people were, settling in, and, living a nice little lull in their lives and basically having, some quiet time to be happy with each other and to set up a little society and to have that. And we saw the governor picking up another group and this other woman and her child and basically adopting them as his family. And you know what happens when the governor gets really tight with something is that, like a family, like people, he gets really possessive of them. And we saw what happened. He thought maybe he was turning over a new leaf, trying to be a good person. He struggled with that a little and tried to be basically different and realized at a certain point that he couldn't be. That he couldn't be that person. So he started to devolve a little. He started to kill people and killed Martinez, who I liked. I liked Martinez. And basically, got these people together and told them, you need a safe place to stay. There's a prison with bad people in it. Okay, fudging with the truth just a little bit here is always fun. And so that last shot we saw the governor standing outside the prison was right before he laid siege to it, which was about to happen. There's a few little things that happened before that were kind of interesting to me. Were that first of all, the governor captured Michonne and Herschel while they were out dumping bodies, which, they were out there by themselves. They weren't thinking they were in any danger. See, that's the lull that they were into, was that they were thinking that they were safe, and they weren't. And he's got them both captured, and he's going to use them as bait for Rick. At the prison, Glenn and Maggie having a little tete-a-tete, and so cute and all this stuff. And Rick finally gets around to telling Daryl about Carol. Now, we don't get to the first part of the conversation when he actually does tell him, but to me it would have gone something like this. Daryl, I don't know quite how to tell you this, and please don't get mad, and I can't stress that because I have a family, but I may have kicked your girlfriend out of the prison. Don't kill me! That's about how it would have gone. Say if, we were doing a parody or something, but I don't know exactly how it would have gone, but I mean, just tell you that when Rick did tell Daryl about it, his reaction is about what we would have expected. And he was not happy about it. For two reasons. One being that it wasn't a group decision, that Rick did it while he and the others were away. And secondly, because we know Daryl loves Carol. We know this, alright? Whatever kind of relationship they have, those two are close. They're very, and we know that they're close, and we know that this is not going to sit well with him, and it didn't, and I'm glad it didn't, because if he had just accepted this, I would have thought that their continuity error would be bad. This show is pretty good with its continuity, for the most part. You don't have too many of those continuity errors with the characters. Writing and the editing tends to be good. The story people tend to really, really, pay attention to what they've done before and try to make sure that it reflects on earlier things. Daryl and Carol are very close. They're very close. But the nature of that relationship, I'm not 100% sure of, but they're very close. And Daryl's angry reaction to it. Especially love the line where he says, Rick's trying to tell Daryl that she's got a car, she's got supplies, she's gonna be, she can take care of herself, she's okay, and Daryl snaps at him and says, don't tell me that, don't say that like you're trying to convince yourself that you did the right thing, basically. So, he's mad about it, okay? I mean, he's not gonna let it interfere with anything else, but he's mad. And this might play out down the road in this. And an interesting little thing about it, too, is that I don't think he actually believes that Carol did it. And I'm not 100% certain Carol did either, because I'm still thinking that little girl, yeah, so, and that might come into play later, too, as you'll see. But they're going to go tell Tyrese because he doesn't know yet. So they go to find Tyrese, and when they find Tyrese, before they get a chance to tell him, that's when all hell breaks loose. The governor's there with a tank, shooting, blowing up the tower and everything. So Rick offers him a truce. Out front, Rick says that I'm not in charge. We have a council. okay, so you made one decision without the council, and now you're advocating it. You know, they kind of shot the devil for a minute, like, really? You really doing this? And he's got, you know, he wants to talk to Rick one-on-one about the whole taking of the prison thing, and to show Rick that he means business, he brings out Herschel and Michonne, and has them on the ground in front of them, and basically, I want to talk to you, Rick. And Rick says, Rick goes down and talks to him, and Rick says, you know, look, we can live together. You're not kicking us out. We can share. We can find a way to coexist. And the governor's like, no. And I want the prison, and you're going to have to get out. And Rick's like, please, you can. Okay, people can change. We can change. We can come back. Rick's trying to negotiate with the governor. He's trying to prove that you can come back from the things that you've done, because he wants to believe so badly that he can recover from all these horrible things that he's done and decisions he's had to make. And you see the governor considering it for a moment, and then he just gets this look, and he's got Michonne's sword in his hand, and he's like, you're a liar. It's like, at that moment, the governor accepts that he can't come back. And he takes his sword, he hits Herschel with the sword in the back, and cuts him right across the back. I'm already so surprised just thinking about it. Herschel! And, you know, nice, wonderful Herschel, the morality of the group, the older guy, Maggie and Beth's father. And you see Maggie and Beth at the fence screaming their heads off, you know, it's just, it's so sad, and he's not done yet, though. That's the worst part. And, of course, the minute that the governor does what he does to Herschel, it's all out warfare. I mean, people they're just opening fire. Everybody just starts shooting at each other. You have chaos, things everywhere going on. People getting split up, all this stuff. Herschel's trying to crawl away. He's got a big old gas in his neck. Michonne's trying to get away. And the governor comes up on Herschel and he cuts his head off. Herschel! I love Herschel! We all love Herschel. I think that everybody cried. It was like last year when Daryl's brother Merle got killed. Everybody cried because it was just so awful. And it was just terrible. So anyway, while this was going on, Lily, the woman that he was with, and her daughter Megan are waiting back at the thing, and then Megan gets attacked by a zombie that's in the mud underneath her. She gets bit, and of course she's dying and whatever. She gets bit right here in the neck, so you can't cut that off at that point. And Lily brings Megan to the battlefield right after the governor cut the head off of Herschel, and the governor just takes Megan from her arm and takes his pistol and just shoots her right in the head with it. It's just all-out bloodbath war. There's some great scenes in this. I mean, just some classic, wonderful Walking Dead, memorable moments of ridiculousness that I just, you know, like Alicia, the girl that Lily's sister was with, was coming in there to go after to get Tyrese, and then they have guns and they were trying to shoot him, and just as she's about to get Tyrese, she gets nailed in the head by a gunshot, and it's Lizzie, the little girl. See, I'm suspicious of this little girl. I'm still suspicious of this little girl. There's something weird about this little girl, and the fact that she's able to do this with such efficiency is kind of creepy. So, but there's also the part where the tank comes into the prison, and Daryl's fighting all these people. And he's doing it by himself, because Daryl's the badass like that. And he almost gets bit by a zombie. I think everyone watching the show had a heart attack when that walker came up behind him and almost got him right in the neck. And the next shot we see is a front face of a walker walking up, and Daryl's behind him, using him as a shield, and then he's like blowing people away as he's doing it. And he throws the walker out of the way, whacks one with his crossbow, then throws a freaking grenade into the barrel of the tank, which causes our guy to get out of it. There's the guy that was in the tank to get out of it. By the way, this guy, I can't remember how to pronounce his name for the life of me, but he used to play Charlie on Fringe. And I recognized him like immediately. And he jumps out of the tank, and he's like, I think he's safe, like this. After the tank explodes, he's just standing, and all of a sudden you see pivots around, turns around, and there's Daryl standing there with the crossbow pointed right at him, and I'm here, dead man. He's mad. This is not a guy. Right through, bam, you're dead. Bye-bye. Goodbye. And then Daryl grabs Beth, who was looking for the kids, to try to get him on the bus, which is, by the way, already taken off with Glenn on it. And Tyrese finds the kids, and Tyrese is going with them. Maggie and Sasha and Bob are all together in their little thing they're trying to get away too. So everybody's scattered. Rick's out on the lawn fighting with the governor. Like, it's all out, bloody, you know, somebody's gonna die in this kind of. It was almost like when Hotch on Criminal Minds got a hold of the Reaper and just pounded the shit out of him. But in this case, Rick was getting a little more of it. It was like elixir, though. Rick definitely did some damage to the governor, but the governor, gets him down on the ground. He starts strangling him, and Rick's eyes are starting to roll back in his head, and like, oh shit, he's gonna kill him. And it's like, right as you feel like Rick's about to just give up, a sword comes right through the chest of the governor, just dead. Well, not dead, but out on the ground. And Rick takes off like this, and Michonne just kind of looks at the governor for a second and says, yeah, you're not worth it to me. So she goes, I don't know where Michonne goes at this point. I have a theory on this, but she goes off. Rick goes looking for Carl. He can't find Carl. We're thinking, oh God, is Carl gone too? I mean, we don't know at this point, who's dead and who isn't. I mean, all that stuff. So it's, it's just all out bloodbath, chaos, war, things like that. And Rick's about to get attacked by a walker, and a shot knocks him down, and there's Carl with the gun. And they went to look for Judith, the baby, the little child, the baby that's sitting in the carrier. And they find her carrier sitting on the ground, and there's covered with blood all inside of it, and it's covered. And of course, the logical conclusion you would draw from this is that a walker got a hold of the baby and ate it, which is a horrible thought to even think of. But it's still a logical conclusion that Rick and Carl can come to, and it's just both of them just lose it, for about a minute there. And it's just, Carl's blowing away walkers, and Rick's pulling them away, and Carl's just, the kids had it, it's like he's finally starting to cry again, like a kid's would. The last shot we get of those two is of those two leaving the prison. And as we leave the prison, we see the walkers starting to take over and walk in, and we see our living zombie girl from the first episode. See, I love when they do this stuff. I love when they bring us full circle and show us a person that was once a person and is now a walker. You see her just walking, and she's a zombie. And it's awesome, and the last shot is of Rick and Carl leaving through the bush, and Rick tells Carl, don't look back. Just keep going. And they cut to black, and that's the end till February. Holy shit. Alright, now, I don't know where they go from here at this point in time, because it looks like they killed the governor. Actually, I forgot to mention that part. The governor, laying on the ground with the hole through him that Michonne put through him. He's still alive, of course. That son of a bitch won't die. And here's him hoping that the walkers come along and just eat his face off, because they hate this guy at this point. he's killed so many people. And he kind of looks around, he looks up, and standing over Miss Lily. Yes, Lily, with a gun in her hand. And she points it at him, and it shakes a little, and she fires a shot. Now, we never actually see him die, which is the only doubt that I would have that he'd still be alive. But, you know, with a bad guy like this, it's, you know, you don't know. I mean, they could just make you think he's dead for a couple of seasons and then just randomly bring him back and he's alive and he's just, you know, psycho crazy and kills another person. So I have a couple, so in a way it was the best kind of death for him, because the comic book writer said I didn't want to give him that, you know, glorious death at the hands of the main character kind of thing. I kind of wanted it to be, you know, unsatisfying in that sense, and to give it to a character who's basically relatively new is kind of appropriate, because that's how these guys are going to go down. They're going to go down by people like her, like people that, you know, like that, you know, grieving mother, things like that. And so, you know, in a way it's appropriate. If he actually died, that's probably the most appropriate way for him to die. You know, that everybody got their licks in before he died, which is kind of cool. So, I have a few questions with regards to the end of this. Like, you know, we still know what Carol is at this point, and we gotta assume that some of the people in the prison are gonna run into her on their way out. And gonna find her or whatever. It could be Tyrese with the kid, which would be kind of an interesting thing, or it could be Carol's group, which could be interesting, which definitely would be interesting, and it could be Rick and Carl, which would be even better, because then she may need to be the one to help Rick, because from what I understand, Rick's not going to be doing so well in the next episode. So, we don't still know what Carol is, and that's, you know, a little thing that they can say for us, a mystery of some kind. And where's Judith? I don't think she's dead, to be perfectly honest. But the baby, I think somebody has the baby. I think it might even be Michonne. Because somebody speculated that with the whole thing with Michonne holding the baby earlier in the season, maybe she's the one that protects Judith and looks after her for Rick. That would be kind of cool. Because she and Rick and Carl are kind of a little family unit anyway, so it would be kind of cool if that's the case. So, I think that that's where she is. I'm not certain what Judith is, but I'm pretty sure somebody has her. But other than that, I'm kind of just interested to see how this is going to go. Because, God, they just did some ridiculous things in this episode. And talk about, you know, I mean, pretty much from about halfway through, there was nothing but action. It was just insane. And people died, a lot of red shirts died, a lot of unimportant people, but a couple of real important people like Herschel, who the whole world cried over. Scott Wilson, who plays Herschel, is an excellent actor, very accomplished, was in Cold Blood way back in the day. And even my dad recognized him, he knew who he was from. So, very cool. I'm going to miss Scott on the show. We're definitely going to miss Herschel. And that's the thing about watching TV shows. You get attached to characters because they're so, you get so close to these people, and that when they die, you're devastated. And I've seen this happen in shows before. And this one was probably one of the hardest ones because it was Herschel. So, you know, you're still like unable to deal with that, still comprehending and really trying to process that. So anyway, those are my thoughts. That's what happened essentially on The Walking Dead, so I'm sorry if I spoiled anyone who hasn't watched this. I'll put a disclaimer up when I put it up, but this has spoilers in it for that episode. Next week, I should be able to get more into Once Upon a Time because there won't be any Walking Dead until February. I'll be able to get into my other shows with a little more detail. The Walking Dead just seems to require so much more in terms of discussion because it really is an awesome show in a lot of ways. And I just love the way it shows the human condition and the struggle to maintain your humanity and to survive at the same time. It's really, really it raises some interesting questions, like with the governor, like when he just basically decided, I'm not going to try to be a good person, I'm just going to be me. It doesn't make a difference anymore, so he just didn't care anymore, and that's why he had to do this most despicable thing he could do. He's her Bent Horizon killing Herschel. You know, it was just horrible. So, yeah, that's, you know, next week I'll be on my other shows, but I'm still processing The Walking Dead. I'm sure I'll bring it up once in a while. Lastly, my the Bruins are 18-7-2 going into tomorrow night's matchup against our hated rivals, the Canadians. So, keeping fingers crossed that we beat these bastards, because I hate these diving little fucks. Alright, that is it for me this week. I hope you enjoy it. If you can hear the music, I hope you enjoy it. It's my Apocalypse playlist on Spotify. Anybody who's on my Facebook can look it up. Spotify is a great app to have. It's a great thing to have off of Facebook. You can stream songs that you don't have on your iTunes, and it'll even pull stuff from your iTunes onto it. You can make playlists, and I just made an Apocalypse playlist. It's kind of like the zombie Apocalypse kind of playlist kind of thing that my friend Steph actually put it in my head to do, and now I've done it, and I'm listening to it now on my cell phone. So, hope you enjoy it if you can hear it, and thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week. Okay, bye.